الفرنسيين سمعوا عاشوا بيوم من الأيام أجدادهم بأثناء الحرب العالمية، ولكن مضى سنين، مضى 50 سنة هن ما لمسوا هالشيء، ما عرفوا هالشيء. نفس الشيء كل الدول الغربية والأمريكية اللي ما عم بتعيش هالأوضاع هيدي. فبالنسبة لهم رؤية الإنسان، مقابلة الإنسان.
Initially, when I started this project called Untitled, the video project specifically, I was invited to do an installation about movement. And for me, the idea of movement itself was just too simplistic and wasn't that interesting. So I started to think about this more in terms of interstitiality. So interstitial meaning the in-between space or the in-between time, or what exists between polarities of like getting from point A to point B, or in terms of interstitial states or interstitial beings like refugees, for instance, or all of us experience this notion of interstitiality in our lives.
And I think habits are very crucial element of life, which a lot of things we are doing every day as personal, intimate beings and also as social and political beings are much more based in habits than in values, and it is not always easy to admit that.
Sometimes I choose people and sometimes people choose me, basically. And I'll meet other people as I tape, a subject that I will choose. And when I ask the questions, I usually have a list of notes that I'm referring to because I've done research before and during the project of creating or of capturing a videotape. So I will refer to the notes, but oftentimes you just have to ask one question and somebody maybe will talk for 20 minutes, right? So as long as you have a number of key points that you want to pose to the subjects, they usually have a lot to say. So a lot about this work is engagement. So for me to try to have an engaged subject, a viewer, I need to have an engaged rapport or discussion with my subjects that I'm engaging with. So it becomes, in a way, it's a type of performance, it's a collaboration, because they know they are talking to the camera and they're talking to the viewer through the camera, right?
وهذا قبر جدي علي، وهذا قبر جدي حسين الذي هو جد ابن عمي. فقال كيف عرفتهم؟ قلت لا زال أذكرهم، إنهم في مخيلتي.
Well, I think my position in each work is very evident through the editing, because when I edit, it's almost a rewriting. It's like you're making the montage, but you're also choosing what pieces to keep and what not to keep. It doesn't mean that I agree with everything that's in the video or everything that people are saying, but if I choose something that I disagree with, it's to set up, a dialectic or set up a contradiction or to set up the viewer, to be challenged in a way. So in a way, when I edit, it's like rewriting what people are saying. They trust me to represent them in a way and their subjectivities, which I try to do. Sometimes these tapes go on for hours. Sometimes they're 2.5 hours long. Sometimes they're an hour long.
Every time you do this, I start feeling like,
For me to have this collection of subjectivities, I can set them apart from each other. And for me, my own sort of personal, specific point of view isn't that interesting. It's more about what I can create out of their stories and their subjectivities to arrive at a notion of history.
He was in trouble. He had been found guilty for his role.
City of the Middle East.
Le Liban serait encore aujourd'hui le pays de l'encens et du miel.
This is Lebanon, this is not Disneyland. Yalla itla.
This is Beirut. No one needs a reason to kill anyone. Here you don't kill who you want, you kill who you can.
About this broken, beautiful city in which I live.
Well, I think you'll find Beirut's got its charm.
What was once the Paris of the Mideast is now the closest thing to hell on earth.
In the hot suspicions of Beirut, there is an obvious and dangerous answer.
They call it watching the movies.
Through the years, the focus will start changing, maybe not so much on interstitiality, but on other issues as well, and it'll grow and grow and grow that way. So I know that they'll become integral pieces that I show in festivals on their own or in theaters, but then also there'll be installation elements that I add. So within this field, yes, there's different juxtapositions that will arise because they are not synced, frame by frame to match. So it's sort of, accidental, but it's all within a field of intention.
Can we change that destiny? We can rebuild him. We have the technology. We have the capability to...
Why didn't you follow them?